Hey! Welcome to Positive Waves. My name is Matthew Collinson,
I'm Joseph Soma.
and today we are going to talk about learning, the path of learning, I think, the lifetime path of learning and journeying through life. And I think that we'll also touch on some trends and patterns today because it kind of matches up, like Joe informed me earlier when I texted him about it. He was like, "It does sound like it could touch each other." And I was like, they could touch each other in a big hug.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's like patterns. Once we understand that, how life is a journey and how everything we go through is lessons, not, heartaches and hardships. I mean, granted, some of it may feel like that, but if we can focus in, see the lesson, and move forward, we'll get through shit a lot quicker. But that's all mindset. So it's not as easy when you're first starting out in your spiritual journey. But yeah, I see how, like, when you first brought this to me, I see how, like, as we're growing up, we are literally, 0 through 18, which there's more in there, but 0 through 18, we're relying on our parents. We're learning what they know, what they're teaching. And, we're half the time being placed in front of a TV or a video game because, folks got to work. They got to, bring in the income to keep bills paid and all that. So, where our journey starts is kind of just in a controlled chaos situation where we're left to be guided by busy ass people and freaking television, and neither of it does much justice for us. So those who did get parents to have that family time with them and those few hours every night to teach, learn, grow, and develop, kudos to you. You're starting off fantastic. I'm one of those ones where both parents worked, and I hid when I got home from school. I would hop on my bike and I would be gone. I wouldn't want to be home. So, it all depends on where our journey really starts to have it bouncing between the lessons and the journey with the trends and the seasons. So it's a fun ride. But yeah, walking through it though, it's like each stage of life, we're still learning the lessons. We're still preparing ourselves for our own great journey once we do hit that magical age that we move out and go on our own.
If it comes. uh, the way things are going, I don't know. It's funny, man, because I noticed this, especially in the younger generations. It's totally flipped than how it used to be. Like, I grew up in the 80s, 90s, and so
Well,
I was also out most of the time on my bike or chilling or doing something, like, not in the house. I mean, I did play video games at that point, but not near as hardcore as I played later on.
those
Uh,
were the rainy days we couldn't go out.
right, exactly. And even then, we tended to find things to do. Nowadays, it's parents having to kick the kids out and be like, "Get out of the house, go do something."
Not even that, but some parents are too scared to.
Yeah,
They're
that's the other
too
thing.
worried about what might happen.
There is an increased sense of fear, and that's been a big issue, I think. Even in, like, the way my wife and I raise our children, we're still, like, worried about our kids, and they're two adults now, and our youngest is 10. Like, I get to bring her to school today because it's first day of school, which is
Woohoo.
what brought the thought of learning into my mind, obviously. And yesterday we spent, like, the day going out, getting her some clothes, doing some, doing the let's hang out for the day and enjoy it together kind of thing, which was really fun. And we walked around the mall for a while, which I normally never do because I don't really like going to places like that. Uh, I prefer the woods.
Surprised malls still exist. I thought we lost those in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Nah, man, we have a few of them here, but there's this one called Washington Square that we go to, and it's a good size place, man. It has everything you could ever think of. But that was a blast. And then after that, we went and got green curry, which is a delicious Thai place. So we got some, like, rock and roll salad rolls, and those were so super yummy. And then some basil spicy fried rice. I
Sounds
love
good.
my spicy fried rice. Um, but the point is that every year I send my child to school, she comes back older, and it's the same thing. Older and older we get.
Mhm.
We all age. It's beautiful. No stopping that train. Might
Nope.
be able to slow it down a little with our mindsets and other things, and hopefully we see some other additional things come our way to keep us longer and longer for,
Got to throw
as long as we
lifespan
can.
stuff out there.
But regardless of how long we go, whether it's 50 years, 70 years, 18 years, we've seen young people go too. Um, and I think that it's important to remember that that whole time we're here, this entire experience, we are learning.
Whether we want to or not, whether we realize it or not,
It's not a choice.
there's no fighting it. You're learning something every day.
I feel that very deep in my heart. And I feel like if we can get our minds wrapped around the fact that we are constantly learning and we can keep an eye and be aware of the trends that we see in life, the ups and the downs, because we have to have both in order to have both. If you want true happiness, you have to see what true sadness is. There's always two sides to a coin. And I think most of us have acknowledged that we have experienced most of these feelings together in some way, shape, or form. And I think as we remember those ups and downs, we can start to train ourselves. This is where I'm at now, and this is what I'm trying to accomplish with life is sending out this positive wave, right? So how do I get there? Was a question that popped in your head. Then I realized that you don't worry about the hows, they just come your way. Like, I didn't know I was going to be making this podcast with you, Joe, a year ago.
Right
I had
now,
no clue.
now all we can do is just appreciate the moment in time and enjoy what we're doing and keep moving forward. Because, like you said, it all changes. We're always growing, and if we're learning and taking these lessons every day, then we're going to continue our growth as well in spiritual and wisdom and knowledge and all of that. So, we're always have the choice to learn and to grow, or we can stay stubborn and stuck. And I mean, a lot of people are holding a lot of angry because they're stuck in a loop of whatever trauma that got them into that loop, and it creates new personalities within you when you don't want to let go of these things, or you don't want to see it as a lesson and call it a learning experience and move forward.
I agree. I think the other piece of that choice is learning to say, what do I want to learn now? And then stepping forth towards something you want to be learning, something that actually excites you, something that lifts your heart up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, you can choose as well, but there's going to be things thrown at you through your journey of life that you're not going to want to face, you're not going to want to deal with. But if you can still stand at that doorway and stare it in the eye or whatever, and say, what am I going to learn from this? It no longer becomes a fear or a worry to do it. It just becomes easier and easier with every fear you conquer. But hiding from it or running from it, you're not going to learn that lesson. So you're going to keep repeating that portion of your journey.
Agreed. It does repeat. And I think it continues to repeat. All right. It gets easier and easier as you do it more and more often to make the choice to go into it as opposed to running away from it. Um, I come from a martial background, as you know. I kind of go into things. I don't really think. It's more of a act. It's an action step
Mind
towards
mastery.
whatever I'm doing. Um, and that's kind of how I've raised myself now at this point at 40. I mean, which is old on one end and is young on another end. So again, it's two sides to the coin. It's like it's not quite in the middle. Technically, we actually don't live longer than 70s on average. I believe it is still. That may have gone up a little bit.
Yeah,
What's that?
it's somewhere in the 70s. I want to say the last time I caught it, it was 72 or 77. So it was
Kind of what
some,
I heard.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
And I
And
think females live longer than males as well, is another piece of that, which is hilarious. Uh,
well, like you said, you jump into that divine masculine and you go do. You don't think, you just do. And well, sometimes we might overlook something that might slow us down or even end us earlier than we anticipated.
constantly. Man, that's why I like surrounding myself with people that are growing, because, like you and the other people in our community that we're a part of, it has helped me to start to shape exactly what it was I wanted and really start to make it work for me. And once you start doing that and you get on that journey, it's like the whole world opens up to you, because you're like, there's so much abundance. It's like, what do I want next? Or what do I want to do next? Because it's really a choice.
Mhm.
Everything comes to the choice. You can gear your choices towards another trend, which is the like space weather and moon cycles and stuff like that, which we've talked about before. So if you haven't heard that talk, you can go back to one of the other episodes. I can't tell you which one we talked about it on. It normally comes up here and there, though. So, but I'll give a quick synopsis real quick, which is, as the moon goes by us, it goes in between the sun and us. So the sun's energy that's coming at the earth constantly, as the moon goes around, it shapes around the moon, obviously in waves of some kind. I don't really know what that all looks like. I've seen a couple of cool images, but what I do know is that if that's disrupting that kind of energy coming at us, then of course we're going to change and go on ups and downs, much like the cycle of the ocean, the tides, and all that fun stuff. So when we start to become aware of that pattern, you can start to gear your learning towards that pattern as well. Be like, I know I really want to start learning this. Maybe at the top of my energy cycle, the full moon. No, the no moon,
New moon?
new moon.
Yeah. I believe new moon is when you want to start new routines, habits, things of that nature.
Yeah, because that's when it's directly in between us, right? No,
Yeah.
that's on the other side of us. That's what it is. Ha, got it. All right. So full moon is when it's on the far side of the planet from the sun.
Yeah, now I gotta go back and reread it all just to see.
Because the sun's reflecting off the moon and we see it as a reflection.
Yes.
So that's what's making it glow, essentially.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's cool, because so on the full moon, if you go to start learning a new journey, you're getting at the top of the ride and you're like, wee. And so you're starting to learn whatever it is you want with your heart and soul at the top of our energy cycle. That's what's important about it, I feel. What about you?
Yeah, it's one of those got to be in tune with yourself before you can really monitor the moon cycle with the attributes of life. It definitely plays a role with me as well. There's days where some moon cycles are different for me than they are for my partner or for yourself. So really knowing yourself and where you are, which would really rely on knowing some astrology about yourself as well to follow the moon cycle and how that fits with you and your sign. But yeah, I have those ups and downs as well. It's still a learning cycle for me. I'm still reading on it, trying to remember those important tidbits of when I should do what and how and all of that. So we
There makes two
stumble
of
through
us,
that
man.
every
I'm still learning. I'm still learning.
Exactly, exactly. Always following that passion. And it's like anytime you come across something, and it draws your attention, obviously you're drawn to it for a reason. There's something within that that's going to help you with your growth on your journey through life. And it may help you with the next phase of what you're wishing to do. So definitely paying attention to what comes up during these cycles, what is triggering you if you're in a low spot, or what's filling your heart with joy in a high spot. And it's paying attention to the ebb and flow of the cycle and the knowing. So still learning, still growing. And it's one of those things that, yeah, I do need to spend a few more hours every week just researching and remembering, so I can make it more of a routine and know, oh, okay, moon cycle's here. This is probably why I'm feeling this way.
Yeah, I start to look at it now when I'm starting to feel different things than I expect, I guess. Can't always expect what you're gonna feel because not his life, but uh
Well, you can kind of get an idea of how you might feel. So if you know the moon cycle's coming to where you're going to be in that low spot and not motivational, you obviously don't want to go take a high endurance freaking vacation doing all sorts of activities, because you're not going to have that that desire, and then that's going to make it a shit trip because you're not enjoying yourself. So you would want to do it when your energy's up, when you're ready to run, and do all of that.
yeah, that's valid too. I like that one too. I like that you said that we need to work on our foundations first, because I think the roots are super important in our being. And getting in touch with those roots on the various levels. There are so many levels to get in touch with on that. I mean, you could pick and choose that path as well. Like, what do you want to learn about yourself today? I mean, that's kind of what you say, and then you just do it. I mean, it's not hard, but what is simple to do is simple not to do.
Mhm.
I love Jim Rohn, man. That guy cracked me up.
Why it's always best to do the smaller things first. That way it helps you build that confidence instead of tackling something huge.
I don't know about that. I think I'm more of a eat the frog first kind of guy. Like I
Mhm.
like to get the hard stuff out of the way first, because then everything becomes easier.
Oh man, for me, I had to build my confidence up. I started small and conquering little things, getting those little victories, and having that self-confidence grow and grow. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is. You had the self-confidence from doing your martial arts already, more so than I had from running and hiding from all of my dramas and dramas.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that it's there. I think there's two paths here, and it's talking about the same path, honestly, because it's all one journey. Uh, we have to start incrementally when we're starting something massive. But once we get to a certain position where we are in that confident state, we are doing, like, we're being our best selves essentially, then that is a time when you should be getting the harder things out of the way first.
Right.
Because if we can gear our minds towards, focusing on, let's say, our income levels, right? M1, M2, M3, then you are learning to grow in each of those, right? So once we've grown in each of those, you don't forget, right? So then you start getting like the harder stuff out of the way, like putting
Mhm.
ourselves out in public, doing what we're doing right now is an action towards our further growth that we think will produce the best outcome for us.
Right.
So that works with everything though. So how do we get the big chunks out of the way first, right? Well, what we need to do is I need to edit more, and I need to do the, closed captioning more and get that done and get it up and going. That's one of my major steps that I need to eat the frog first, because that's the first major step to really getting this thing out there and fine tuned, right?
Sure.
So that's where I should just, say, let's go, Matt, let's block out that time, get that time blocked and be done with it. And then it's not a choice anymore, because then I'm just following the schedule.
Hmm. Right. And that, I mean, my mindset was a little in a different place when we were talking about conquering the things. So in what you described, yeah, I totally agree. My mindset was something as simple as like this, doing this. I needed to take those small steps, doing video calls, talking on Zooms and things like that. There was no way I'm going to eat the frog and take that big jump and go put myself on a stage in front of 100,000 people and talk. no, that wasn't me. So for me, I had to do those small steps to get here and be able to speak comfortably and share whatever's on our, topic board for the day.
So let's say 100,000 people listen to this episode. What is the card pull of the day for them?
Ooh,
Surprised him that time.
do we want to do a dream deck or do we want to do a rebel deck?
Well, I think we've been sticking with the Rebel. We should probably go Rebel mostly, with as much as I like dreams.
Right on. We'll see what pulls up for the card here. Apparently that one is it. All right, let's see what she says. It's dark and you can't see a fucking thing. Get your head out of your ass pronto. And there you have it.
Oh, you love that one. Comment if you love that one, guys. I gotta hear it.
So,
Yeah, sometimes I feel like we need to do that though. I think that's part of the learning process.
that's why we keep repeating the same cycle, because we don't want to see what is causing us to keep going through that same shit. Like if we were attracting broken people in a relationship, obviously there's something we got to fix within ourselves to stop attracting that broken thing that is within us. It's like universe is saying, hey, look, see this brokenness, this is within you, fix yourself. So it's literally pull your head out your ass and see what you need to do to continue your growth.
Yeah, see, this is more of a Byron Kate thing where it's, is this the truth essentially, and this is the reflection, and Eckhart Tolle also talks about the reflection piece. Who else talks about this stuff? Wayne Dyer is another one.
I think everybody does. I think it's becoming that popular to where like the reflection, it's getting more and more spoken of by so many.
I know, it's funny when I find out that when you're not liking something, how it's that piece inside of you that is making you feel that way.
Right.
It's just another human reflecting it, because that's how we work. That's how the universe points things to us, essentially. I feel it's one way anyway. I'm sure there's a billion ways, but stuff I can't fathom. But I do know that when we have any kind of wave towards somebody else, any kind of energetic interaction with anybody, it sends out a wave, positive or negative. And that's where I really try to be positive mostly, especially when I'm out and about, even though I really try to do it at home too, but it doesn't work always at home. I feel like if we can all get to a state where we do want the best for everybody around us, then we would lose the wars, we would lose the conflicts, we would lose the problems. And that would be one of my favorite things to see in this world.
Right. That would be amazing.
Now, that's where I kind of live, though, is my dream world, right? And that's where I try to produce that. And there are so many ways to do that. There's an abundant amount of ways to send out positive waves to people.
Mm-hmm.
You can smile, you can say hi, you can make sure somebody doesn't feel alone.
Help a stranger, lend a hand.
Do
something just for the ability you have to do it with, expecting or wanting nothing in return.
Tell your partners you love them and you appreciate them. I mean, how many positive waves can we send out in a day? As many as we can, as many as we want.
Yeah, it's just making that conscious choice to do so.
I think that's where the more learning comes into play too, though. As a growth piece, is that once we've learned that there are so many ways to do anything, nothing stops us but us. And once we grow a foundation of that you're confident in, that you're able to step up and live that full self that you want to be living, then the world again opens up. It becomes a play ground. You can literally create what you want. And that's where the dream creator comes into play for me, because I believe anybody can create what they want in this world. And it's just taking the steps to get there. It's literally creating the daily habits to get there.
Yeah. Anybody can do it, literally. You just have to want to.
Anybody.
You just have to want to. You want to wake up every day and take steps towards creating that perfect world for yourself, that bringing that dream to life, creating that business you want, getting that, whatever your heart desires.
Yep. And I believe once you've helped enough people get what they want, what happens? You get what you want. Like literally in life, that's how life works. That's why they say start in service or start in some way that you can help people. Like think about the stuff you've gone through in your life for a minute. Those things that you've grown through, somebody is going through.
Mm-hmm.
Those things that you have grown through, somebody is going through. If you can help people grow through that pain because you shared your story or shared your experience, then you've just helped a human life live a better life. And I can't think of anything better to do with my time, honestly.
Figured I'd let you know. I pulled a dream card for you while you were talking, and pertaining to what you were saying, the card is teeth. Take a big bite out of life. I think that's fitting.
I love that. That's great. And I think like that's what we have to do every day though. And the way to do that is through things like gratitude. If you can find one thing to be grateful for to start, that's a good start.
Mhm.
And like Joe says, do it again and again and again. And it gets easier and easier over time.
Yep. Don't matter how big or small, just find that something positive and water it, help it grow. And it'll be so abundant that, yeah, that stuff I've read about abundance is there for everyone. You just have to believe it. That's the absolute truth. You just have to get into that mindset to where everything's not against you, everything's not hating you. It's a lesson. Learn that lesson, and the abundance will start flowing in.
It's already there. That's what's beautiful.
Mhm.
That's
It's like
I
you
think
just
that was a
open the
big
door and
switch.
it comes in.
Yeah, I think that was a big switch in my mind though, is everything's already here, whether it's floating around in space or here on Earth, like whatever it is you're thinking, it's here. Yeah, you just have to seek it. And that's where the seek and find comes into play. Yeah, if you knock, it's gonna your door's gonna open. Like it will. It's just a matter of knocking on the right door, which needs to be a piece of who you are, your soul, your heart, your love. I think that has a lot to do with this. That's why I like to radiate boundless love, because I like to send out as much love as I can because I receive so much love. Like, why wouldn't I pay it forward?
Mhm.
Like my family, like I love my family and I always receive love from my family. And I'm like, oh,
I
my
love
heart.
those random Facebook Messenger messages that just pop up. Matthew's just sending me, "Hey man, just send you the most bountiful love for the day," or something like that. And it's like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much." I love
Yeah,
random messages that they just pick you up. They bring a smile to your face. They fill you with joy. It's amazing. That's you sending that positive wave around the world.
exactly. And that's what it is, man. It's that simple, like you said, though. It's like just sending that message, just sending that wave,
Yeah. And that
get that
turns around and
smile.
gets me thinking, like, you know what? That's amazing. I got abundance of energy now. Let me send love out into the world too. There's, 5, 10 people, whatever, whoever popped in my mind. There you go. Have some energy as well.
It's amazing, man. It's so easy. But again, what is simple to do is simple not to do. And I really wish people would do more. Come on, we have to actually wake up here, guys. We have to act. If you're not acting right now, then you're not playing. This is a game, the game of life. Enjoy it. Smile a lot, laugh a lot. It's the best time to do that. We get
Mhm.
plenty of sad times. Like seriously, people die on us, people leave us, people, are sick, people, things happen, fires happen, nature happens. Like so much stuff happens as we're flying through space at a million miles an hour on a rock.
Are we going that fast?
Yes. It's
Well, great.
recently been told that it's like 1.2 or 1.7. I can't think of which is sticking in my head, and my mind always reverses things. But I think that and that's how fast we're like moving. We're spinning at like 70,000, I think. Now it might be faster, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a science person. Like I know a little bit, but I'm not really. I don't know the stuff like a scientist would.
All right, you got my interest. So I'm gonna go hop off this call in a little bit, and I'm gonna go look it up
Yeah, go
and
look
see,
around.
because that stuff is curious to me. I recently seen something the other day where like the tides don't move. It's literally the attraction of the moon or something like that that holds the water in like a bubble, and as the Earth spins, that water doesn't move, it just stays stationary, and it's the Earth moving. So it's like the tide comes in and goes because of the Earth spinning, not because of the water moving. Or it was so interesting and in depth. I was just like, damn, I gotta remember this. This is great.
That's intriguing. I'd be curious on that one myself. I love all the stuff we run into when we're studying anything. Pick a place, pick a path, and go learn it.
Hmm. Something that fills your heart with joy. Go learn it.
Yep.
You can Google, you can go to the library, you can buy a book, you can, talk to people in the industry. Just learn.
Yeah, that's where finding people comes into play, though. That's where really surrounding yourself with people that you want to surround yourself with is so important. This is this is where I want to like invite people to things, Joe, because I'm just like, I want people to grow. I want people to learn. I want people to raise their conscious level one step at a time. Like it takes the base first. So work on those roots, but you can work on those roots with other people. Like study
Right.
books together, start a book club, do something.
Right. Oh man, a book club, that's good growth right there.
It's
A
great.
group of people getting together, learning, and you pick a book like Think and Grow Rich and just
Yeah.
read it over and over, and you're going to learn so much every different time you go through the book.
Pick any kind of personal development, something that you want to learn, and then just get a group around you. And if you really want to have fun with it, we can show you how. I'll put links in the description for you guys to go explore the game of life with us. But beyond that, thank you for joining us today at Positive Waves. Please subscribe, share this with anybody that you think this could help today. Send out that positive wave kind of thing. And I appreciate you all and love you.